Hi there. Thanks for joining me today. In today's mini class, we are going to be answering questions. It's a Q&A format. We'll answer questions about what it takes to learn iridology, how do you find a good iridology course, and we'll answer questions about the business of iridology. How do you turn this into a viable money-making business? I'd really appreciate if you'd like this video and if you would drop a comment below. Doing those things makes it so that more people will see this video. Thanks. Hello and welcome. It is so good to have you with me today. Here we are talking about the business of iridology, and we're going to do this in the format of questions and answers. I would love it if you would take just a moment to introduce yourself just a little bit, maybe just in the chat box, let me know if you have any iridology background already or not. So yes, iridology or no iridology. All right, just so that I know who I'm talking to. Am I talking to people who've got training who are really ready to launch into the business? Or am I talking to people who are brand new and want to know if this is a viable business model? So Tacita says no iridology. Excellent. Excellent. And again, everybody who's joining me on the webinar, if you would just let me know if you've got iridology background or not, so that I know how to slant my answers here a little bit for you. And you'll find that the more you play with me in my chat box, the more information you're going to get. Part of the reason for doing this webinar today is that there's a lot of misconceptions out there about iridology and about the business of iridology. And so we want to make sure we answer those questions. Again, if you have questions about how to learn iridology or the business of iridology, drop those in the chat box. I have a lot of questions prepared, and if I don't hit your question in what I prepared, I will try to loop back to it to make sure it gets answered for you today. Today's an exciting day for me. I have another new group of students starting, but it's also a sad day. I have a group that's graduating today. Mixed emotions because I love my students and we have such a good time together. All right, very quick introduction here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on me today. I am a level 3 IPA certified iridology instructor. Level 3 is the highest they offer as far as certification for instructors. And there are only 5 of us in the world, and I am one of those 5. So that's pretty exciting. I've written lots of books, been around the block more than once with herbs and nutrition and things like that. And so when I teach iridology, I always pull in a little bit of that information to help you see how you can integrate any other training you have. That iridology works best when we have nutrition or herbology or aromatherapy or some other modality to go with it. So again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on introducing me. Now, again, I said today is the start of a new cohort this afternoon, but I'm going to tell you, if you're thinking, dang, did I miss that start? I've often had students enroll 1 or 2 weeks into the course. The first 2 weeks are the easiest to catch up on, just saying. So if you're thinking, after today, I really think I need to talk to Judith, I want to get into that course, use the URL that you see on your screen. Oops, I did not mean to do that just yet. Use this URL, tinyurl.com/dynamic-iridology-insight. I'm going to put that in the chat box for you really quickly here. There we go. Oops, that did not go to everybody. Let me change that. Let's change that to everyone and do a quick paste and send that out. There you go. Book a call. Let's have a chat. You can only enroll in the course by talking directly with me. I want to make sure that it's a good fit for you and that it's a good fit for me, right? That we're going to have good chemistry. That's where learning really happens, is when we have excellent chemistry. So I want to talk to you, make sure that we are going to that you've got the right prerequisites, that you understand what you're getting into before I collect your tuition and give you access, right? So really important to me that we do that. Let's answer some of these questions. All right, we're just going to dive right in. How does using iridology with my clients benefit my clients, and how does it help me in my business? So what it does for my clients is it helps us to save time and create deeper rapport really, really quickly when I'm with my client. It helps me to focus more specifically on my client needs. When I use iridology in conjunction with that list of what my client wants help with, I call that the shopping list. the iridology helps to guide the questions I'm going to ask, to help me understand why they have those symptoms, and then to also help me understand what the best protocols will be. So oftentimes when we are studying holistic wellness, we learn a lot of skills that are standalone skills. Like you learn this and it functions by itself, and you learn this other thing and it functions by itself. Very rarely do they integrate with each other. Iridology helps me in my business by helping me to integrate everything I know. So as I'm looking at their eyes, and I do have a camera, so I take photographs of their eyes and pop those up on my computer screen. And as I'm looking at their eyes and I'm talking with them, I'm able then to integrate. Is this more of a nutrition thing that I want to do with them? Is it more of a herbal thing? Is there a lifestyle skill they need to be implementing? So it helps me to pull it all together to choose the best things out of my toolbox. That also then helps me to not overwhelm my clients, because I'm making those recommendations right in our client session, which means I haven't spent 2 or 3 or 4 hours creating a protocol for them. I've done it right there when I'm face to face. So that means I have to keep it simple and focused, and I have the opportunity to make sure they're understanding what I'm suggesting and that they're buying into it, that they've got some skin in the game here. So that's how it helps my clients and me in my business. It saves so much time when we do constitutional iridology, but it doesn't gyp our clients out of anything. It doesn't cheat them out of anything. As a matter of fact, because we are more laser focused, it gives them much better value. It's a brilliant thing. There are a lot of different schools of thought when it comes to iridology. Which ones have I studied? So if you're looking for a teacher, you want to vet them. You want to know, where have they studied? Where have they been? Have they studied with more than one teacher? Or are they just sort of, railroad track, blinders on, one perspective? I started out over 4 decades ago, and I originally studied the Bernard Jensen style of iridology. My first teacher, had actually studied with Bernard twice face to face. And then after that, I learned Rayet iridology, which is an emotional iridology. We had a Rayet instructor here in Calgary. And then I learned constitutional iridology. And with the constitutional, that started out in 30 years ago, a long time, with VHS videotapes. If you know what a VHS videotape is, I want you to put VHS in the comments box. Some of you might not know. Some of you might be too young. But if you know what a VHS videotape is, let me know. That way, at least I know where the age bracket that I'm talking to here. Yeah? Amazing. This is so good. Fantastic. I love it. And so I was blessed to hear about these videotapes and to order them up, studied them backwards, forwards, inside out, upside down, watch them, pause them. Remember how you could pause the videotape? Used to pause them and make notes. And when I'd go through them again, I'd use the same set of notes, but I'd pause again and I would add more notes in between the lines. And then I actually brought one of the fellows who was involved in producing those videotapes. His name is Bill Cardona. I brought him to Calgary to teach a certification course. And that was how I learned constitutional iridology. So, and then I've had many other teachers. That's only 3. I think I counted the other day that I have had 8 different teachers. So I've been exposed to a lot of different ideas in my over 40 years in this industry. And what that has allowed me to do is to sift and weigh and practice and go, this works well, that I have no more faith in, that doesn't work well. And so that is the beauty of having a teacher who's actually studied with many different teachers and who has a lot of years of experience. I can teach you not only the doctrine, if you will, but I can teach you from the practical application side how this works in real life. Which styles of iridology do I use with my clients, and why did I choose them? All right, so my primary style now is constitutional. I love it because we don't nitpick little details, and this little detail means this little detail means this little detail means this. That's a very Jensenian style. Constitutional says, when I see this and this and this in an eye, it makes me want to know more about this from my client. It helps me understand that this might be an area that needs support. right? When I put those markings with my client's symptoms, it really helps me to understand how my client is put together and where they are going to need either ongoing support or temporary support to get things back on track. I also do a bit of RAID, and I just dabble in it a little bit because RAID is pretty deep as well. And I find that the kind of clinical work I do, I don't need to get deep into the kinds of things they get into, because RAID gets into birth order and that impact on who you are. I focus on RAID more how it affects this person in their day-to-day functioning. Many years ago, I was still a Jensenian iridologist, and I'd heard about a course in Vancouver, which is an airplane ride away for me. And I talked a couple of my colleagues into going with me to this iridology course. And when I got there, I discovered after about the first 4 hours that this was really a 2.5-day infomercial for this fellow's herbal line, and that he was throwing some iridology in on the side. And it was really frustrating, and I was really angry about this. I already knew iridology and I wanted more. I wanted something that was meaty. I wanted something that was worth an airplane trip plus 2 nights hotel plus all of the travel expenses out there. And by the end of the first night, I could see I wasn't going to get this. Day 2, as we were looking at things, back in the days of, projecting slides up on a big screen, there was a marking showing on an eye, and I said, "What does that mean?" And the teacher said, "I don't know what you're talking about." So I went to the screen and I framed the mark with my hands. And I said, "What does this mean right here, this thing right here?" And the other students in the room said, "Yeah, never seen that before." And the teacher said, "I don't see what you're looking at." And that was when I realized that I didn't think I could trust Jensenian iridology anymore. It had already not been working well for me. I was looking for validation in this course, and what I got was nada, nothing. And so that was shortly thereafter that I learned about constitutional. And so when I first heard about these VHS videotapes, and I had studied them several times, I was actually looking at a photo I had taken of one of my clients' eyes, and it wasn't making sense. I was trying to apply this new knowledge of constitutional iridology, and it just wasn't, it wasn't lining up for me. So there was a phone number on the VHS videotape. I thought I might as well call. It was like a Friday night. It was probably 7 o'clock my time, so 6 o'clock their time. So I called, thinking I'll get an answering machine, and somebody actually picked up the phone. And I said, "Is Bill Caradonna there, please?" And he said, "Well, this is Bill." And I said, "Bill, you don't know me. My name is Judith Cobb." He went, "Hey, wait a minute. Are you the Judith Cobb?" And I went, "What do you mean?" He said, "Are you the one who writes for this publication?" And I was writing for a herbal journal at the time. I said, "Yeah." He said, "I love your stuff. What can I do for you?" And I said, "Well, I'm looking at this eye photo. I've got your videotapes, but I don't understand what I'm seeing. So here's the exact opposite of the Vancouver experience. He could not see what I was looking at, but I could only describe it. And I said, "I'm looking at blah, 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 blah." And he said, "Oh, well, do you see this as well in that eye?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, if you did, you would want to go this direction with your assessment. Do you see this in that eye?" I went, "Yeah, I do." I said, "Oh, that's great, because then you want to take it this other way." He couldn't even see the photo, but the way I was describing it, he understood what I was seeing and where it needed to go. So that made me realize constitutional was where I needed to be, absolutely had to be. And that's why I do constitutional and RAID now. How do I include iridology in a client session? Client comes in. I don't do iridology photos in every appointment. I do them in the first appointment and typically repeat them once a year after that. Because with constitutional, we are not looking particularly for changes in the iris, as in things are not going to dissipate, but things may accumulate, and things accumulate slowly. So we don't have to be, flashing those bright lights in our client's eyes. So how do I include iridology in a client session? Client comes in for that first appointment. "Hi, hello, how are you?" I get them to sign a release form that says they know I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not going to diagnose. I'm not going to prescribe. And do you give me permission to contact you by email, text, whatever, to stay in touch? Okay, so very simple stuff. And then I ask them, "What would you like my help with?" I get their shopping list of what they want my help with. I take photos of their eyes. pop those up on my computer, and I take that shopping list. And because I have a strong background in anatomy and physiology, and I require that of all of my students before they come to me, that they have a strong foundation, like they've completed a college level anatomy and physiology course, just, one 6-credit class. Then I take all of that and I think, well, these symptoms I know can be tied together in this way, and these symptoms can be tied together in this way. Here are our common threads. What do the eyes teach me about this? What understanding do the eyes give me about these threads? And then from there, I can ask questions. I'll ask about diet. I'll ask about lifestyle, things that are relevant to what I'm working on with the client. And then from there, I can create that very tight nutrition and supplement program for them. Typically, I'm only making 1 or 2 very specific dietary changes in an appointment and adding 2 or maybe 3 supplements. So when I say very specific, I would never tell a client, alkalize your diet. That is a clean sweep. That is too big. So it might be reduce your coffee. How do you feel about reducing your coffee consumption from 6 cups a day down to 3 cups a day over the next month? Do you think you can increase your leafy greens from a small serving once every 3 days to a medium-sized serving every day? End of change. Depending on what the client needs, it's just that simple, just that specific. I choose things that I think will have the biggest impact, but will also not be onerous to do, because I want my client to get results quickly. I want them to see that, yes, this works, because if I gain their trust with a couple of simple changes, because now they're getting the results I said they would get. And I always say, we're not doing big things, we're doing little things. So we're expecting little changes. I want you to watch for this and this. Very, box that in really tightly so that when they see those changes, they're going, wow, this is really working. Oh, I wonder what comes next. I'm feeling this much better. What would it take to feel this much better next time? Right. So it earns their trust, and they can see that I'm not going to do such a radical thing that they'll never be able to eat again for the rest of their life. How do I market iridology as a service? Now, we aren't going to go over a huge lot of details in here, because in the scope of the dynamic iridology course that I teach, we have the outlined curriculum, which is all the iris stuff. But then we also have extra group mentoring sessions that are open to all of my students and graduates. And that's where we talk a lot about marketing. So what we need to remember as we're talking about marketing is that marketing has changed a lot in the last 40 years. It used to be if you had a Yellow Pages ad, you were made in the shade. Now, who cares, right? Now you've got to have an online presence, or you've got to have a strong physical community presence. There's a lot of competition, but the market is nowhere near saturated if you know how to get your message out. And we talk about that in office hours as my students ask for it. One of the big challenges with marketing iridology is most people don't know what it is. And so we have to be educating them about that. If that's going to be the focus of what we do, we need to educate them about that. Regardless of what it is we do in our clinic, in our clinical work, we probably need to educate our clients about what we do in order to draw them in. And so, start with a Facebook page, start with a social media page. I know there's a lot of pushback on that, and I'm not a huge fan of Facebook and their tactics and how they run their background operations and things like that. Unfortunately, it is the quickest and easiest way to get a business off the ground. Getting a website off the ground, putting a website up and hoping that's going to draw people to you, unless you're really good at doing search engine optimization, don't waste your time on a Facebook page, right? Because you'll fall to the bottom every time. If you don't have a Facebook page and you want to focus on a local market, is there some place that you can do free workshops where you can go and negotiate with the owner, and hopefully the owner of that business has the kind of people you want to work with. And so can you go in and volunteer your services to present a workshop in exchange for being able to hand out promotional material, getting people to opt in for some kind of an online downloadable piece so that you've got their information and can contact them back. So that's an easy way to begin promoting your business. Why do I love constitutional iridology? Oh my goodness. And some of you have been to others of my free Thursday morning workshops where you've seen me work through an iris analysis, and I think you hear the passion in my voice as I teach this stuff. Why do I love it? I love it because there's ongoing research. I love it because it helps me to connect with my clients. I love it because it gives me deeper insight to my clients. And when I can take a photo, show them their photos on my computer screen, point out that couple of markings that are really relevant to what we're working on, and explain why these are important, what they mean, then my clients, again, it's deeper trust. My clients love seeing their eyes and understanding more about their own health. I'm not just telling them what's going on. I'm showing them in their eyes what it is. You know, I had that experience with my dental hygienist. I have a new dental hygienist who I am madly in love with on a professional level only. And so I'd had my second appointment with her. First one was last summer. Second one was just recently. And I had refused x-rays the first time around. This time I said, can we do just a couple of bite wing x-rays? And she said, sure. And I said, yeah, and just, the back ones, because those are, if there's going to be a problem, it's going to be back there. She said, I totally agree. So we did those. I've never had a hygienist or a dentist actually show me the x-rays and explain what they're looking for. She took that 3 minutes to do that. Do you think I respect her even more because she explained what she was seeing? Heck yeah. Right. And so when we do iridology and have the ability to take photographs and show our clients what we're seeing, it earns our respect. The other thing that I love about constitutional iridology is where my Jensenian teachers, once the class was done, it was adios amigo. Bill Caradonna, even though I studied with him 3 decades ago, he and I are still in touch. His business partner back then was Harry Wolf, and he's still kind of involved in iridology. I've been in touch with him over the last 5 or 6 years. And if I have a question, I can go to them for support. I didn't get that at all with any of my Jensenian teachers. So that's another reason why I love it. And that's why I support my students so hugely. How do you find a good iridology instructor? How do you find a good iridology instructor? Well, if you can see examples of how they teach, that will help you. Are they organized? Are they logical? Are you organized and logical? Do you like things to go A to B to C to D and it's very linear and structured? Or do you like a shotgun pattern? Let's throw an eye up and let's talk about everything we see in this eye. Whichever style works for you, if you can find examples of your teacher teaching, the person you want to be your teacher teaching, and if their style resonates with you, then pursue that further. You also want to make sure that they are not teaching fluff. So a good way to verify this is, are they certified? Are they certified as an iridologist? Are they certified as an instructor? Who certified them? What were the certification standards? I see a lot of people out there who I think from what they're saying, they're teaching iridology classes. And I watch the stuff they're teaching about iridology and I'm thinking, did you get your certificate out of a cereal box? Because that just doesn't make sense. Or you've contradicted yourself 3 times in the last 10 minutes. Which one of those things that you said is correct? Right. And so do some investigating. I am an IPA certified instructor. You can go to the International Iridology Practitioners Association website and see my name listed there as being an up-to-date current certified instructor and certified iridologist. And there's information there that shows you what the outline is of what the hoops are that iridologists and instructors have to jump through, what they have to accomplish in order to achieve those certifications. So really good to make sure that you know where your teacher is coming from. Can iridology be learned well without a face-to-face course? I absolutely think it can. I think I don't have any of my students on the call with me today. Sometimes I have students that pop in on these with us. And they will tell you that, and I always ask this question about halfway through the course, can you imagine learning this in a 5-day workshop? Because my course is 45 hours of live instruction, 20 sessions, 2.25 hours each, once a week. And you just see their face, they go, oh my goodness, no, I can't imagine learning this in a 5 or a 6-day workshop. There is so much to learn. So yes, you can learn this well without a face-to-face course. A live interactive experience online is great. We look at hundreds of different eye photos. We look at many examples. You have lots of opportunity to ask questions. And, it's great to have that information going out. As you start to practice it, and maybe you figured out, and we talk about how to take photos with your smartphone, get usable iris photos with your smartphone, you bring those photos back into our mentoring sessions, to our office hour sessions. And I'm going to say, you brought the photos, you do the analysis, talk us through what we're seeing here, and we will coach you along to make sure you're hitting the points you need to hit. Right? So the information isn't just me giving you examples, me answering your questions. It's you bringing cases to us that we can talk about, cases that are relevant to you, where you know that history, right? And so, yes, you can learn this really well without a face-to-face course, but a live interactive online course is an amazing way to go. And I'm very sure that if my students were here, they would agree with that. They're constantly telling me how much they enjoy it and how much they're learning. What support is there after training for business questions and help with difficult cases? This is the office hours. My students do not get kicked out of office hours. So whether you're a current student or you've graduated, or you're one of my students who's graduated, or you're one of my students who's certified, you are still always welcome to come to office hours. I've got some of my students that certified 5 years ago when I first became a certified instructor with IPA. They still come to office hours periodically. I love it. They bring tough cases. They bring good questions. And I love that. It's a way that we have that community. We have that support. We also have a private social media group on the MeWe platform. And my students and grads can also post cases and questions and comments there. And again, never kicked out of that group. Is it important to get certified, and what does it mean to be certified? It's important. It probably doesn't matter to your clients all that much. Seriously, really, they're just wowed by this, but it might be important to you. Some people really need that completion of, I finished this. That is fantastic. What does it mean to be certified? It means that you've accomplished certain milestones. You've done the coursework, you've met the standards that IPA has outlined, and you've passed their final certification exam. And so I support you through that. If you decide you want to be certified, there is quite a procedure, and I will walk you through that, and I will hold your hand through it to make sure that you've got the support you need. Really important to me that you understand, I do not push my students one way or the other. Some students really want certification, some don't. It doesn't matter to me. I will support you regardless of which pathway you choose. What does it take to be successful as an iridologist? You got to study hard. If you think learning iridology should be easy, that you should be able to learn it in a weekend workshop, you are very mistaken. You will know enough to use this as a party game. You will not learn enough that way to actually do anything. To see, to ask, can you practice without certification? Absolutely you can. Because iridology in North America is a non-regulated industry. Right? If you were in Germany or Russia, you would have to be a medical doctor and you would have to be a certified iridologist to practice iridology. But in North America, you don't have to be certified. But I really encourage you to make sure you complete the coursework and even do the first few steps towards certification so we can make sure you are totally on the right track. So you've got to study hard. You've got to be willing to take correction. You've got to be willing to ask questions when you've got them. There's no such thing as a stupid question in my classes. Working with a group, a cohort that's midstream. We did module 13 with them yesterday, and one of them literally said, I need to go back to a module 2 question. Can I get clarification on this? Absolutely. Let's make sure you are rock solid, because if you don't have that straight, other things are not going to sit right for you either. So you have to be able to recognize when you don't know something, when it's not sitting straight, and ask for clarification. You need to be able to explain things really clearly and simply without using a lot of jargon, because your clients won't have your jargon. They're starting from where you were maybe 15 years ago on their wellness journey. You're way ahead of them. So you have to simplify things down, not dumb them down, but use language they will understand. And it really helps you to be more successful as an iridologist if you have other modalities, right? So we need those other modalities, the nutrition, the herbology, flower essences, aromatherapy, other modalities, because otherwise, so you can give your client ideas of where the imbalances are. If you can't give them recommendations about how to resolve those imbalances, what good are you, right? We need to be able to offer our clients solutions. So important. How do we take our iridology practice from a paid by the hour, financially limiting business to a business that does not have an income cap? One of the best ways to do this is to affiliate yourself with a product line that has top quality products that you believe in. I have my favorites, and of course I share those preferences with my students, but I don't force anyone to do anything here, because when you are promoting products as well, then your clients can continue to buy the products even if they're not coming in, if they're to that point where they're not coming in for an appointment every month. I typically see new clients once a month for 3 to 4 months. And by then we've got good progress and we've laid a solid foundation. Now I can send them off for several months. Sometimes they'll disappear for a few years, or 3 or 4 or 5 years. Then as their body shifts, they want support again, so they come back in and we do another series of appointments. If I have recommended the right kinds of supplements, and if they are trusting the products that I'm recommending, they're going to continue buying those products from me in between appointments. So that helps to augment my income. It is still being of service to them. And so that is another way you can increase your income and remove that, I only have this many hours in a day, therefore I can only earn this much money in a day. Does that make sense? That's sort of having a side hustle within your holistic practice. Can I make a living doing iridology? Yes, you can. I'm going to say only if you have a modality that complements it. Again, doing iridology by itself without nutrition or herbology or aromatherapy or flower essences or anything like that, it's going to fall flat. No one wants to hear just what's wrong with them. They want someone who will guide them through the process of getting well. So if you've got a modality, then absolutely you can turn this into a living. When I'm trained up, how will I know how much to charge? The baseline to start, once you've got your certification, is to start with, what does a 1-hour massage go for in your community, right? There are some places where a 1-hour massage might be $60. There are some where it might be $150. So start with that. And then based on what other skills you have and what the number of years of experience you have, you can increase your rates from there. I never do iridology as a standalone thing. It's always incorporated into my client appointments. After I finish the training, where can I go to get business mentoring and help with difficult questions? Where can I go if I have questions at all? That again would be the office hours. Now, but check with your teacher. If you're thinking, Gita sounds like a crackpot, I'm not going to take a class from her. Who would ever do that? And you're looking somewhere else. Ask those teachers, what support do you offer? When I finish the course, can I come back to you for questions? How does that work? I've had students come to me that had studied with other teachers. They had certified under other teachers, even under other IPA instructors. But those instructors have said, no, your business stuff, that's your problem. You'll figure it out on your own. I don't like that approach. I believe that a part of my responsibility is to help you support you in whatever way I can to be successful in the industry. We need good practitioners, and too many practitioners drop off the radar. They totally drop off because they aren't getting the support they need on the business things. They think, I've got the training. Why isn't everyone coming to see me? Because nobody knows you've got the training. You didn't market yourself. You don't have an LED screen on your forehead that says, I'm a really good iridologist and herbalist, come see me, right? You don't give off a vibe that says that. You've got to be able to market yourself. And so that's why I have the office hours, is to help you with the marketing. And I will tell you, I have spent now about, over the years, it's probably been about between $75,000 and $100,000 learning marketing. Right. And I can share a lot of that with you in office hours when you're one of my people. Just saying, if I become an iridologist, do I have to buy an expensive camera? Well, if you took your car to the mechanic shop, and he's a good mechanic, but he doesn't have the tools he needs to repair your car, and he tells you you have to take your car somewhere else to get it fixed, do you think you're going to go back to him? Maybe not, because who wants two-stop shopping if you can get one-stop shopping, right? So ultimately, you will have to buy the right equipment, but you don't buy that at the outset. You wait until you have finished at least your coursework. In the scope of the course, I will show you the kind of equipment I have. I'll tell you what I love about it. I will connect you with the people who make the equipment that I prefer. And I will give you ideas of how you can buy your equipment without going into debt. So it's just so important that you have professional equipment. One of the things that I do is when I take photographs of my clients' eyes, I will often pick the best image of the right eye and the best image of the left eye. I'll run them through a photo editing program on my computer, and I will add my name and phone number on there, and I will add their name and whether it's a right eye or a left eye on it. And when they leave that session, they get these prints of their photos. I've had people bring these photos back 15, 20 years later saying, can we do iridology again? Look what I found in my drawer, right? They're business cards. People don't throw them away, right? And so that's an easy little marketing tip. All righty. So I apologize that we're rushing so fast, but like I said, I've got a new group of students starting in 20 minutes. And so we needed to get through this for you as well. Again, that new group is starting today. If you think, wow, I'm missing out on the best thing since sliced bread, I want in, use that URL, book a call with me. I promise you the first lesson or two are super easy to get caught up on. And, you know, if the time isn't quite right, there will be another start in a few months. So, but if you're thinking, oh, gee, I got to get in on this, give me a call. I put the URL back in the chat box. Let's do a real quick analysis here to show you how this works. So this is one eye, a close-up, and just a frontal photo of one of my clients. She was in her mid-30s. She came to me with fertility issues. She'd been trying to get pregnant for a couple of years. She had conceived once and miscarried. Now, I want you to look at these beautiful dark brown eyes and look at how you can see layers in the eye. So when we see a loop like this, that's a loop in the top layer. And as we see shading, that is seeing layers that are down lower in the eye. And so when her eyes suggest a family history or genetic predisposition towards having the MTHFR defect. And again, when you've got your A and P under your belt, you probably understand what MTHFR is. And for women to have the MTHFR defect really increases their chances of infertility or fertility challenges. Her eyes also suggest she has a liver inefficiency, and that connects really well with the MTHFR defect. In addition to that, she also has these wrinkles in her eyes that they don't necessarily affect fertility, but they tell us about how she uses her B vitamins, and that's important for liver function and fertility. You can see there's a slight cloudiness here at the edge of her eye as well, which suggests that her liver, she probably has a liver enzyme insufficiency and may not process her carbs properly, but that would go really well with the MTHFR and a few other things that can impact her fertility. So I asked her specifically about carb cravings. She said absolutely yes, she had carb cravings. And that sealed the deal for me. I knew exactly where we needed to go. And from there, we were able to make some simple dietary recommendations to get her blood sugars balanced and give her the right kinds of supplements to support her with the MTHFR. And she conceived about 3 months later. Right. And so I did not have to look at every single little marking. What you've heard me do right now is a constitutional iris analysis. How long did that take? 2.5 to 3 minutes. When you know your anatomy, when you know what your constitutions are and what the different markers are and how they contribute to constitutions, your iris analysis is just that fast. We absolutely don't have to talk about every single marker. And if we do, we should be shot on sight. Okay, that was a little aggressive. It's not useful to talk about every single marker in every appointment. Stay laser focused on what your client wants help with. All right, so friends, we are at the wrap up here. Again, next course starts today, but you can join anytime in the next 2 weeks. So if you're thinking, yes, I'm ready, I want to take that leap, let's book a call, let's talk about it. Let's see if you really are in the right time and place to do this. Tacita, you are very most welcome for this. I look forward to speaking with you soon. I know I've had calls with a few of you and we're just waiting for, certain things to happen for you to enroll. And the rest of you, I look forward to speaking with you soon and to seeing if dynamic iridology is a good fit for you. Have a fantastic day and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. I hope that answered some of the questions you've got about iridology and having an iridology business. Again, take a moment to drop a comment below and feel free to reach out to me if you'd like more information about the iridology program, Dynamic Iridology Assessment System. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.